أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد بن عبد الله
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الأرجاس وطهرهم من الأدناس وجعل مودتهم أجرا على الناس ولا سيما على بقية الله في الأرضين الإمام المنتظر صاحب الزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف ابن هداة المهديين وعلى صحبهم الأخيار المنتجبين وعلى جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والشهداء والمجاهدين في سبيل الله منذ آدم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أليس الله بكاف عبده. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Just to recollect our thoughts on what we had been discussing over the last few nights, so from there we can flow onwards. We were talking about this concept, this notion of us understanding that we are not what we have. What we have and what we are quite different things. To the extent that not only our wealth and our house and spouse and children, we know they are not ourselves, they are what we have only temporarily as tools, and they will be taken away from us. Even as we mentioned, it is more difficult to conceptualize and to understand that even this hand and foot and this face with which I am identified, this is something I have, not something I am. And therefore the point of death, when the real me, what I am, will go forward, what I have, including this body, will be left behind. No, beyond this, if we imagine not only our physical bodies, which is hard enough to understand that it is not what I am, it is only what I have as a vehicle. But not only this physical body, even my mental state, in that the memories I have contain, as long as they are part of that grey matter within my head, that grey matter itself that forms my brain will be eaten by the insects. Even that will be left. What does this tell me? That the Quran, which I can memorize from beginning to end and end to beginning and read forwards and backwards and chapter after chapter, verse after verse, I can memorize, as far as it is here, it will go. It will not come with me. Unless it has become what I am, that will go. As far as it is stored here, that will remain. Does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not show us in this life? Before even some people die, a person reaches old age and older age and very old age, they may Allah keep us all safe and healthy, they may suffer a disease called Alzheimer's disease. The person is still alive. In the progressed stages of such a disease, the person doesn't recognize their own son or daughter, doesn't remember who they are, doesn't remember what they had for breakfast yesterday. The Quran, forget the Quran, beginning to end, whatever they had, they will not remember even how to read the Quran, how to say certain words. That which they had as their memory, which I think this is part of me now, even that is something, not what I am, but what I have. Even that will be left behind. But why is it sometimes difficult to understand? You may all have seen flight simulator machines. Yes, a big box, big machine. In some displays or some conferences you go in there, you can sit inside the flight simulator and you can fly the plane. Not a real plane, it's just a simulation. The box goes this way and that way. In front is a big screen. On the screen they can show a rainstorm or a sunny day or different weather, maybe hail, maybe lightning, and you have to try and land that plane. It's not a real plane. The one who goes inside the simulator, he knows or she knows that this is not real. This is a simulator. So if that plane was to crash in horrendous situation, that person inside would not be afraid because they know this is just a simulator. I am going to exit after this. After it crashes, I'm going to come out to live the real life. What if hypothetically speaking, someone, a baby was born inside the simulator and grows up inside the simulator and sees the rain and the flying going up and down and grows up hypothetically through the years and understands rain and sun and flight. When the hailstone comes, when the lightning comes, this person will be very afraid now because as far as they know, this is everything. If it crashes, that's the end of me. They don't know that one day I have to exit. We are born in this simulator now. So I think this is everything. No, this is nothing. This is just temporary capsule that I'm in. And one day I will leave this all behind. So that's what we spoke about, this notion of me being different, what I am being different from what I have. And we spoke about dua, that one who does the real dua is that which comes from a desperate heart. But that can only come once a person realizes they are completely needy. They have nothing. Ownership actually is an illusion. I don't own anything. And then yesterday also we spoke about generosity. When a person realizes that actually nothing is mine, I don't own anything, and I am different from what I have. If I lose something, something is detached from me, I have not become less. And what I am is to go ahead. So this discussion, realizing that I am different from what I have is different, and detaching is this way, etc., brings us to the notion or the idea of tawakkul. What does it mean, at-tawakkul? You know, in English we often translate it as reliance on Allah, depending on Allah, at-tawakkul ala Allah. Do we understand what it means actually? To really understand what it means, we try to imagine the opposite of tawakkul. Then maybe you can understand what is tawakkul. If we are going on a journey from Heathrow to wherever, maybe Middle East or America or somewhere, you already have a weight allowance, but you have to depart from your house to go on the journey. You haven't reached the airport yet, just from your house. You open the suitcase. Everything which is important to me, I need to take along. So I open the suitcase. Now, just imagine, this cannot happen physically, but just imagine, now first of all, parents, children, wife, siblings, all of these are important. So I put them in the suitcase. My house is very important because, if I fall in financial difficulty, this house that I own, I can maybe sell it, the equity there is important. The house, put in the suitcase. My car is a source of wealth, takes me from A to B. I need this, I have this, put it in the suitcase. My boss, my work, everything which is important to me, and which, when I fall on difficult times, my friends, for example, my cash in the bank, jewelry, everything which is yours, clothing, etc., everything. You put in the suitcase. A house, or if you have more than one house, houses, offices, everything, colleagues, workers, everything in the suitcase. Now you close the suitcase and you want to take it to the airport. Will it move? Can you shift it even 1 inch or 1 centimeter? The heart is like this. The heart, we want it to fly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Get closer to Him. But as far as we have filled this heart with everything I think I own, or I think I can rely upon that thing, whereas the heart is filled with that heart will not move to Allah. Only once that heart is empty, or the heart which is emptiest will move faster. And that heart which is emptiest will move much faster. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So in order for me to get closer to Allah, I need to empty this heart of thinking I can rely on these things. That heart has to be poor, because that heart cannot own anything. Once that heart is burdened and owned and I filled up like a suitcase, it cannot move. That heart has to be poor, destitute, needy, empty of anything. That heart has to be poor, not own anything. So I have the hadith from our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa He says, Al-faqru, faqr is poverty, yes? Al-faqru fakhri. Poverty is my honor. Actually, the Prophet wasn't poor. One, he married the richest woman in Arabia, who gave all her wealth to the service of Islam. When he went to Medina, he was the head of the state. All the wealth of the Muslims, he came back, he conquered the whole of Mecca. When was he poor? But he said, Al-faqru fakhri. Poverty is my honor. وَبِهِ أَفْتَخِرُ عَلَى سَائِرِ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. And with this poverty, I can boast over all of the rest of the prophets. But he wasn't poor. Alam al-Majlisi in Bihar says, after he quotes this hadith, he says the Prophet means because his looking at La ilaha illallah, the heart owning nothing but Allah, was better than all of the prophets. Means his heart was poor. His heart was poor and empty of ownership of anything. It is these kind of poor people who don't own anything in the heart who will fly to Allah. Which is why, again, that pinnacle of mankind, that peak of entirety of humanity, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. He says, Al-fuqara, poor people, Al-fuqara muluku ahlil jannah. Poor people will be the kings of the people of Jannah. وَالنَّاسُ كُلُّهُمْ, and all of man, that's me and you. وَالنَّاسُ كُلُّهُمْ مُشْتَاقُونَ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. Yes? Mankind, all of them are craving, longing for Jannah. وَالنَّاسُ كُلُّهُمْ مُشْتَاقُونَ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. وَالْجَنَّةِ هِيَ مُشْتَاقَةٌ إِلَى الْفُقَرَاءِ. Jannah itself is longing for those poor. But poor people can be pious, can be evil, can be good, can be bad. No, not those who don't have money. Those whose hearts do not own things, those whose hearts are poor. That heart flies to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only poor of money, look at this. Not only poor of money and not owning, not relying on my intellect, my memory, my body, my beauty, my youth, my health, my wife, my house, my everything. No, not even owning that. No, beyond that. We here, you and I, most of us, we are looking to Jannah. We want to go there. So in our hearts we have that craving for Jannah, or that longing that after we die we are going to Jannah, because there will be fruits and there will be this and enjoyment and rivers and we have that in our hearts. The fuqara even don't have this in their hearts. Which is why again that same man, our Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, he says, Inna al-Jannah, indeed, that heaven, La ashwaqu ila Salman, min Salman ila al-Jannah. That this Jannah longs more for Salman than Salman longs for Jannah. Jannah is waiting for him. Salman wants to go to Jannah, yes, in as far as because Jannah is the place where Allah is pleased with him. That's why. Not like you and I, we want the fruits and the gardens and the trees. These are like sweets, incentives to take. Those who are poor in the heart don't even own this craving for Jannah. Sometimes we and our nafs fools us, dupes us. We are attached to wealth and this and health and intellect and all of these things. So the nafs dupes us. You want to work for Allah? So go get this wealth. You can use this wealth in the way of Allah. Then you can give to charity. So I tell myself, for right now, let me focus on acquiring, accumulating as much wealth as I can. So I can use it in the way of Allah. That's me duping myself. I want the wealth actually. If I own in my heart something duping me that, or manipulating myself, that I will use this to get to Allah, that will be the cause of my downfall. In that famous poet, Persian poet Hafiz Shirazi, in one of his poems he makes a story, he's making a story of Majnoon and Layla. They are there to symbolize our relationship with Allah, that we should love Allah. Once Majnoon wants to go to the house of his beloved Layla. Now she is in the neighboring town, so he has to cross the desert. One night he decides, I have to reach Layla. I love her so much, I have to reach her. At night, when the sun was setting, sun sets, he gets on his camel and he heads towards the town of Layla. I will meet her tonight. And the camel goes through the desert, and as it steps in the night, step by step, and his eyes begin to close, he falls asleep on the camel. When he wakes up, he finds he's at his own house. Once he fell asleep and he wasn't steering the camel came back where he knows to go within his house. Tomorrow I will go to the house of Layla. Today I feel. Next day comes, he gets on the camel, he goes towards the desert. Again, the camel walks slowly, his eyes begin to close. When he wakes up, he's at his house. 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 nights. So you know how I'll get to Layla? He ties the camel at home, he begins walking. I cannot, whilst I am thinking this camel will get me to my beloved, I will end up back where I started. Once I think that my wealth, I'll accumulate wealth and I'll use this wealth which I own in my heart to get to Allah, that wealth will bring me back down to square A, until and unless I relinquish my heart of this ownership, then I will reach my destination. Wealth is just an example. There can be other things. I will join Hawza. Join the Hawza and study for many years, then I will teach people and I'll get closer to Allah. Really in my heart is the status I want amongst people. Yes? But I fool myself that I own this in my heart. But with this with this turban and these clothes, I will use them to get to Allah. Then this very garb will be that which brings me back to square A. The heart should be empty of anything but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is tawakkul? What is tawakkul? Not owning that thing in the heart, not relying on something in the heart. If we want our Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam defines it very well. What is tawakkul? It is al-ilm, the presence of mind, the knowledge, the recognition. So tawakkul is not an action. It is just a perception. Remember what he said yesterday, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ. Allah is not looking at your outer self, He's looking at your hearts. Tawakkul is a presence of the heart, not something you do. You give sadaqah or you don't give sadaqah. You pray, you don't pray. You fast, you don't fast. Tawakkul is something within. So it is that, al-ilm, that knowledge. بِأَنَّ الْمَخْلُوقَ لَا يَضُرُّ وَلَا يَنْفَعُ وَلَا يُعْطِي وَلَا يَمْنَعُ. It is that awareness, that knowledge, that the creation, what Allah has created, be it my wife, be it my boss, be it my parents, be it my wealth, health, even my memory, as we mentioned, that is not going to harm you. No, it cannot benefit you. It cannot give you anything. It cannot withhold anything or deprive you of anything. That all is Allah. I think my health will do this for me. Or the Majnoon thought the camel will do something for him. No, creation can do nothing. It is everything is Allah. These things are just tools, which I have today, they will go tomorrow. العلم بأن المخلوق لا يضر ولا ينفع ولا يعطي ولا يمنع فإذا كان العبد كذلك. If the slave is in this state of mind, فَلَمْ يَعْمَلْ لِأَحَدٍ سِوَى اللَّهِ. He would not work or strive or do any action for anyone but Allah. And he would not fear, and he would not hope, would not fear anyone, would not hope in anyone but Allah. If a person is like this, فَهَذَا هُوَ التَّوَكُّلُ. Once a person realizes this, that is tawakkul, that actually I cannot rely on anything, I don't have anything, that I own, that I can, on hard times I can fall back on this. In the interest of time, this we will continue inshallah tomorrow, the same topic, but to leave with one anecdote. Sometimes not health, not wealth, not this, not that, everything, even my own wealth will deplete. But alhamdulillah, I have a big family, many friends, what we call social capital. Social capital. My networks, my friends. Inshallah, we should help each other when, if any hard times fall. But to have this in the back of my mind, that if this happens, at least I have them. Once, the famous poet Rumi had a teacher, Rumi, a very respected Persian poet. He had his own teacher, who he respected, Shamsuddin at-Tabrizi. So one day, in the middle of the night, in the seminary, where they were teaching and learning, Shamsuddin comes and knocks the door of Rumi, his room. In the late night, Rumi opens the door, he sees his beloved teacher, he loves his teacher. Yes, Shams, what can I do for you? Shams said, I want a favor. He said, for you, Shams, any favor I will do. You are my teacher. Shamsuddin says, okay, I want you right now to go to such and such place and buy this drink for me that they sell at that place. You will see this man, tell him, Shamsuddin's drink, Now Rumi knows, this place is known for wine. And Shamsuddin is telling me to go there. He tells Shams, if it was anyone else, I wouldn't do this. But I'm putting my trust in you and I love you so much. For you, I am doing what you're saying. Rumi goes. From behind Shamsuddin, Rumi himself was a big teacher in the seminary. Shamsuddin knocks the doors of all of Rumi's students. He wakes them all up. Yes, Shamsuddin, what do you want? Your teacher Rumi, you trust him? He said, yes. You respect him? Yes. Do you know where he is? No. He's at that place buying drink. He said, no, we don't believe you. He's our teacher, spiritual man. You don't believe me? Come with me, we see. So now Shamsuddin, followed by all the students of Rumi. You see that person coming from that side with his face covered? That's Rumi, see. The students said, we don't believe. They went and they opened the cloak. They see Rumi carrying 2 big bottles. The first one, Rumi, you? We thought you were a teacher of Islam. I'll never trust you again, he went. Second one, Rumi, we trusted you. Today you are doing this. You were teaching us spirituality and getting closeness to Allah. I don't trust you. You betrayed us, Rumi, one after the other. Left, Rumi. Sorry.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
One by one, left, Rumi.
الثانية حكم الله.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
After they had all gone from him, Rumi turned to Shamsuddin. Shams, why? You told me to get them. Shamsuddin told, open the bottle. Now pour some on your finger and have a taste. Rumi tasted. It was vinegar. Just vinegar. Rumi, I did this to teach you a lesson. What you did was something halal, no, nothing, something haram. But people suspected you, and in one click of the finger, you trusted, you loved your students, you held them close to you, you relied on them. They left you. In one blink of an eye. Rumi, don't trust anyone but Allah. You may have seen, those of you who are a bit older, maybe in your business transactions, in this time, something, for someone you hold close tomorrow when difficult time comes, when you are in a suspicious situation. Rumors are spreading. Suddenly you find yourself alone. The one you were teaching, the one you were looking to, the one you were feeding, suddenly he's gone. Because you were in a suspicious situation. Not you were maybe in the right. Don't rely on, and people are fickle. Today the flag turns this way, they go that way. There, tomorrow this way. Don't rely on people, rely only on Allah. Those people who relied on Allah are the people we are talking about this evening. No one can bring their family, women, sisters, children, unless they know I am is something, I have is something else. I have is for Allah to give and take. I am is what is going to go with me. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
What I am will continue. What I have, even my own life, is for Allah. Something temporary. It is a woman like that who can bring boys and sons with her. In fact, in history, there is some confusion. There is some disparity in the history. Some historians say that out of Muhammad and Aun, Muhammad was the son of Abdullah and Zainab salamullahi alayha, whilst Aun was the son of Abdullah from his previous wife, not the son of, biologically the son of Zainab alayha salam. In either case, if it is the second one that raises her station more, that despite not being the biological mother of this one, she was in the place of his mother before Karbala, in Karbala, after Karbala, that she takes these two with them. What kind of mother is this? Ask next door. If the mother's there, hear that their son has a splinter on their finger, their heart will be this way and that way. My son is hurt. This mother in Karbala, on the day of Ashura, she is lifting her tent flat and putting down, disappointed. Lifting and disappointed. She is calling Muhammad and Aun, two of them, why are you still here? What is wrong with you that you are still here? Why have you not? Don't you know Habib has gone? Don't you know Zuhair has gone? Don't you know Muslim has gone? Why are you still here? Mother, uncle, don't let us go. No, ask him again. Tell him I am saying you must go. After persisting for a long time, Imam alayhi salam had no choice. Aun mounts the horse, Muhammad mounts his horse, and like the two lions of Banu Hashim, they ride, and the enemy scatters. Muhammad fights, Aun fights back to back, watching each other. And Umar ibn Sa'ad calls, do you not see that these are not ordinary fighters? O people of Kufa, these are lions of the Banu Hashim. You will not defeat them like this, they will kill you all. Separate them. So using the arrows and the spears, the enemies come between. They separate these two youth. They are trying to see each other and fight. And then once they are separated, then the sky begins to rain with arrows and stones and spears. Whoever could find anything he could find, he threw at him. Until Aun was struck on the head with a stone, his beard his young beard, was dyed in blood and he was falling. And he calls out to his brother, Ya Muhammad. Muhammad rushes and he is also struck down. These two youth are now on the plains of Karbala and they see their grandfather calling them, now come back to me. Hussein and his family, the surviving members, rush towards these two youths who have gone now in the way of Allah. These two flowers have been trampled upon. They are worried, how will we take these two bodies back to their mother? Their mother will be devastated. How will we tell her the news? They slowly take these bodies back to the tent. They think they are going to give Zainab salamullahi alayha the devastating news. Imam enters her tent. What does he see? His sister is on the prayer mat in prostration, thanking Allah. Allahumma taqabbal minna hadha al-qurban. Oh Allah, accept from us this sacrifice. Zainab, imagine the strength of heart this woman has to have. The tragedy for the women is just beginning. that flew from Karbala to Kufa. Kufa to Sham, she had to look after Imam Sajjad alayhi salam throughout. The women she had to look after. The surviving girls and children she had to look after. She has just lost her 2 sons. She is not concerned about that. She goes from Karbala to Kufa, Kufa to Sham. In Sham she loses Sakina. And she had to look at the burial of her. This mother, is this a mother or is this not a mother? At the end of the day, she was a mother. When they returned to Medina, and she looks at Abdullah, her husband doesn't recognize her. That's how much she has aged. She tells Abdullah, I am your wife. She enters the house, but what house does she enter? The house is empty now. That's when she remembers. Wow, no. Wow, Muhammadah. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون صلوات على محمد
اللهم صل على محمد